Oh, yes. Right, let's rock. Oh, wicked. How is everyone doing? Okay, now, you're probably thinking, God, you're streaming too much, if anything, Peter. You're on our screens too much. Get out here. But no, anyway, I'm dipping my toe back into streaming. This is just going to be a shortish stream today. I've got a few very specific things that I'm looking to do, but you probably noticed in the title that it's called Eadisn Episode 7, more focused on Rumple Town this time. Now, I have, over the last month or so, maybe a bit longer, I have sort of got myself, I wanted to just do one more last little push with Rumple Town. So, several things have happened. So I was desperately trying to work out how to get Rumple Town on a mobile device, on either an iPad or an iPhone, or indeed Android, etc. And there was one big brick wall that stopped, that prevented me from getting it to work, right? And the thing that made it particularly frustrating was because, sorry, I've just drunk loads of fizzy drink and now I'm burping. I do apologise. The thing that made it particularly difficult is there was trying to pinpoint exactly where it was crashing, and it took me so much trial and error, because the biggest problem was when I was, the actual act of trying to test it to work. You can't just simply go onto Unity, press play, see if it works, because in the inspector, like this, it worked fine, but when you did put it onto mobile, it would crash at a very specific point. And that is when you start a game, when you start a game, a fresh new campaign, it would just crash as it tries to load up. And to actually, I had to do a lot of coding, right? And I'll see if I can even find, it should be over here. So if I just go Control-MO, close everything, right? You'll probably notice we've got our create Destiny map routine, right? And then we've got this old one, right? So this is what I did before. I thought I'd create a new one. Hold on, which is this one here, and I've had to change a few things. But what we'll do, even though this is probably not exciting to that many people, to me it's one of the absolute I just find it absolutely hilarious. Is we can I think if I go so in this particular function here, right, in here, don't worry, this will all be worth it, right? So you see this bit of green that I've got that's commented out, right? I actually genuinely, legitimately, in my heart of hearts, thought it was kind of innocent. I'm using this resources.loadAll bit of code, right? What's the harm? So what that would do is essentially get hold of, if we go resources. Oh, fantastic. Sorry, as I do this, I realise another thing that I need to fix. Right. Sorry, it looks like I've got some spam. And yes, it was spam. But yeah, so where are we? So yeah, the monster SOs, basically it would go into this whole folder and load every single one of these, which in my head, it didn't really think it was that expensive. There's about 50-ish of these. I think, there's 10 of them are bosses. And I was trying to work out why it's so expensive. And I still don't know exactly, but my guess would be that each one of these is holding, action sprites and idle sprites. And, and I finally I realised that when you're trying to do this on a normal computer, that's not too much of a pain, right? But on a little mobile device, if it is instantly trying to load all of these resources in one quick fell swoop, that's really that's just going to cause it to crash. And adding to all of that, right? I'm actually essentially now I've got to try and work out. I think it's not just here that I'm doing it, and I worked out something like I'm in a very quick, in one frame, I'm essentially using this resource.load all monsters about 24 times, and like the mobile version just crashes. So instead of resources.load all, I thought I'd come up with a really, I mean, like this was a pain, by the way, right? But I'm really happy that I did manage to get through it. It's potential monsters. Let's see. I'm trying to remember exactly. Definition, is it this one? I can't actually. I can't remember exactly where I did this, but essentially I have got a bit of code that's quite heavy. This is the one, yeah, where we get the monster SO. So basically, I had to put all of this code in here so that whenever we know what monster we're getting, we then just load up that separate one instead of saying, why don't we just load all of them? I can't see any issues with that at all. But anyway, so this was a bit of a pain, but I managed to actually get it all sorted. So now, when you are starting a game, even when you're playing it on the on the PC or anything, there won't be quite as painfully long like screen where you're just waiting for it to, you're thinking, has it crashed? That is now no longer an issue, right? Yes, this was a pain, but it's now kind of sorted. I actually had a bit of an issue before because I didn't change this. I accidentally left this as I think the green Raz, right? So whenever you got the Soul boss, which is the one that looks like one of those Tiger handheld games but with a sun on it, you would get the green Raz, and that took me anyway. But that's kind of fixed now. So, and another big thing when it comes to mobile is, in fact, I'm going to show you what I've done, so that like I can also tell you what I'm looking to fix as well. So, if we go into scenes and we go. I think it's main game. Yeah, main game, right? And I'm hoping I can sort of prove see if I can create the issue that we've got. Right, so this is just a fake scenario. I've just created one. Right, so number one, I don't know if you've noticed, but look how big these cards are. So this is actually for the mobile version, right? And So, because if you're playing on a small screen, you'd definitely rather have the card taking up a massive chunk of the screen so you can see it better, right? And I think if we just pause it, like this is just mainly I'm sort of getting to grips. It's been, a few days. I've had a busy few days. So yeah, I've got this little boolean here called mobile phone mode. Now, if I just simply turned it off, it would go back to it being the regular size that we know. Which is right. Sorry, I got a friend. But so this is the actual size that we're used to. Right. So what is the issue what is our first issue that we're trying to sort out today? Okay, I'll see if I can create the issue. So at the moment, if you notice, I can hover a card, move off of it, and it goes back into the pile, right? And I'm actually quite happy. It's like this is sort of code that I made like almost like years ago now, and it's still kind of been serving me very well apart from with one thing. So if I end turn right now, that's a terrible example because it discards all the cards. Okay, right, forget all that. What we need to do is we need to go into our master here, and somewhere, which I think it might be in this one right here, we've got Bean Community. We're going to have Strategy Totem, and let's just go 1 and then 5, and let's just have 10 of these. This is just so we can sort of recreate the problem. Now, there are times, like with Strategy Totem, and I think other times as well, where you can keep cards that you discard. So this Strategy Totem means you play it, right? And then when I end turn, I'm keeping 3 of these cards. Okay, right, now, what I'm going to do before I actually continue is I will, before this we can actually just remove the mobile mode, and like there's a slight problem that has been sort of giving us grief, right? So I was saying before, you can highlight and then move off, right? So I do a strategy totem, I then go end turn, and oh no, the ultimate embarrassment. Okay, so an issue that we had before was that when you're like during the combat phase, when you highlight a card, oh Vivax, let's rock! How's it all going? Oh, wicked. I'm doing the classic thing where you're trying to recreate a problem and then you can't seem to recreate it again. So, oh, cool. Yeah, that's good to hear. Oh, man, what are you up to? Oh, brilliant. So, I'm going to try again. I have a feeling the boss might need to have arrived at the town, but let's just see. So, I'm going to end turn. We're keeping those 3. And yeah, and like what was happening before was you'd highlight one of the cards, and then as soon as you moved off it, it wouldn't move back to its place. Oh, wow. Okay, nice. Okay, now whenever I think of toys, I think of genuinely like sort of toys that I had when I was younger. I had military muscle men, right? But oh, nice. Oh, Blender. I'll tell you what, if you can master Blender, because that's like, have you actually got a proper like drawing pad to use that with? Because it's like I tried getting to grips with Blender and I was just like, no. I even, believe it or not, it has got a gaming engine on it attached to it where you can use Python, and it didn't really agree with me, to be honest. But yeah. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, you've got a drum pad, but not one with a display. So that is weird, actually. I've spoken to an array of different people, and some people actively prefer not having a display. They prefer the actual, just the blank pad, and they can kind of translate it to the screen. Which, yeah. Yeah. But I literally, like, that, it seems to be, like, you know, to my understanding, it seems quite a divided sort of opinion. Some people must have the screen that they know they're drawing on, and I would imagine if I was ever to use that, I would probably want a screen. But a lot of people actively find it easier when they're actually drawing on the actual, like, one without a display screen, essentially. Right, so we can't create that problem yet, but I'm going to just change a few things. So test blob, right? So what we've got here, right? If I actually exit this now, this, when we're actually looking at all these monsters, I've got this one here, test blob, which is entirely for testing purposes. So number of turns before it arrives, let's just have 1, and the ranged initial ranged actions, we actually, I think we can just have that as 0. We don't need to have any initial, so it's just going to jump forward. Oh yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah, like, but it's just there is actually one of my someone that I used to live with. There's this girl who was literally, I'm not just saying this, you know, and this is going to sound like one of those weird things, literally the best artist that I know, that I've ever met, and she didn't have a display screen. She just had a normal pad that hooked over. But I know that's not saying like, oh, so therefore without a display screen is better, but it's just like, and it's just, yeah, I mean, she was absolutely insane. You know, when you just kind of see someone, like, it looks, when you actually saw her drawing something, you're like, oh no, a human isn't doing that. Right, okay, so now let's see if we can, I'm really hoping I can recreate this issue. So, right, while that's going on, hold on, so while it's attacking, I don't know why. Okay, I was really hoping that, like, the card, yeah, because normally when you, during the combat phase, because I was watching Lakia, Lakia, like, he was actually playtesting the new patch of this game, which hasn't been officially released yet. and he was getting the issue where, like, during combat, when you tried to highlight a card, it wouldn't return. So that card would just be like big up until it comes back to the draw phase, and it was just a little bit annoying. And I'm I'm really hoping I could fix that. Now I've got to work out what we should probably do, because in an ideal world I want to recreate that problem so that I can then fix it, but I'm struggling to recreate it right now. So what we'll do is, if I actually look at the generic card script, and we'll work out the mechanism required for it to return back to normal, and find out what factors are needed for it to not return back. So yeah, by the way, if you got if you're ever in Visual Studios and you're opening a biggish script like this and you press Control MO, it closes all of the functions down so you can actually have a look. So I think it's on point to enter. So we're just going to follow this and see where we go. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, fair enough. But and is there anything? Is there any particular project that what are you working on at the moment? Right. I think it's this modulate thing, and I remember this being a really big deal when. So let's go to definition. So if not busy, force modulation. Right, and how does this work? So set modulation vects. Okay, and then that's the modulation. If not modulating, okay. So this whole thing is essentially what's controlling the cards, and that makes sense. Hold on. We're actually in. Yeah. So this new modulate. So this is calling the hand script. So the hand there's like essentially an empty game object that's holding all the cards. Yeah. Oh, fair play. No, that's the way forward. I think what my plan is at the moment, I want to make this next patch of Rumple Town on Steam, and then release it on mobile, and then work on like Eadisn. Now, Eadisn is the project which I would say it's mostly done. I just haven't done a tutorial, and I haven't really thought. I was thinking, like, if ever you've like sort of got into a game and you're looking to put a tutorial together, it's one of the most depressing things ever, because it's so, yeah, So I was trying to think what's the best but kind of laziest way that I can put a tutorial that kind of works. But yes, that's what I'm working on. Right, so now new modulation routine. So what happens, we're putting in a particular card script, and these are the cards to modulate around. That's fine. And while modulating, if card count, wow, gosh, I've got to remember how any of this works. Right, so forget any of that doesn't matter. This is just the sound effect set, so this could have some relevance. I kind of want to go to this definition. So I think this is just sorting out the like, because the cards are sort of fanned out, it's working out like what the angle and where each position of the card should be. And at this point here, right, it's deciding if there is a card that you're looking to select, then the other cards will fan out around it, whereas if there isn't, then it's just going to go back to its original. So this is how it kind of works. So let's see. I won't lie, I'm gutted I can't recreate the problem, because I saw it happen so many times when I was watching Lakier's stream. He was playing Rumple Town, and I was seeing the problem. I was thinking, oh, brilliant, that should be easy to recreate. And as I look back, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing differently here. But so I think what's happening is when we're doing our modulate, from here, I think it's on pointer exit. Ah. It could be to do with this. So, okay, right. I'm looking. I'm making this way more complicated than I thought it would be. So, so the idea is you enter. It modulates around whatever the card you selected here, and then as you exit, it then modulates and puts null into this formulation, which means that it's now not going around any particular cards. So this should be okay. Right, we're actually making a bit of progress here. So what I'm imagining. So I think I know a way to kind of recreate the problem. Yeah, this might. I might have to have another sort of look at this. So what's happening is, for whatever reason, the card isn't in hand by the time it's actually. So, actually, right, okay, I've got another idea. So again, we're looking to try and recreate something. So I'm going to play this one here. Now, as I'm ending... This is what I want. Sorry, I've just done it accidentally. Right, this is exactly the situation that we've been trying to recreate, and I don't know what I did to do it. Okay, right, so what's happened at this point, right, is if you look, my mouse is over here, right, and it's not over... Hold on, I don't want to point at it, but it's not on top of this particular card, right? And the idea is when the cursor is not on there, what should be happening is this card should move back to its normal situation, and it's not, right? Now, I believe, right, I mean, the only problem is, right, okay. Now, I'm sorry, I'm quite excited now. I've recreated the problem that I wanted to recreate, and so if we actually go onto this card, there's quite a few things. Card facing front is true, card in hand is true. So it's as if the exit wasn't activated. Okay, we're actually getting close. So now I want to see if this... Oh, no, that didn't prove anything. Damn. Okay, right. Okay, it could be to do with like playing a card and then hovering over something else. Okay. Alright, we might be onto something. Okay, so now, if I end turn... Yeah, okay, that's still fine. Okay, alright, so it's to do with playing a card and then... Right, okay, we've now been able to recreate it, because this is what I don't want. I don't want there to be a card that's selected when the mouse cursor isn't on it. So this is, okay, right, progress. I think what we should do is, so now, okay. So I think... So card, not card. So what we should do actually is at this point here, we're going to have a debug.log card in hand plus card being played. So that probably needs to do toString. Oh, nice! The real MKB. Let's rock. How's it all going? Oh, fantastic! We're having fun creating problems. Well, not creating problems so that we can fix them. What we're testing at the moment is the issue of when you play a card or like when a card is selected and then you move the mouse off and it doesn't actually go back to normal. And we've worked out roughly how to create that problem. and it's where you play a card, hover over one, and then move off of it, right? So that is what's happened, and we've got that's interesting. So in order for it to modulate back to where it was, what we need to do... Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, like I'm glad. I think interesting is the kindest way you can you can describe it, and I do appreciate that. I think as with kind of quite a large percentage of men, I'm slightly colourblind, so I wouldn't know what actual colours work. So what I've done for my game after this, I've actually decided to have a really sort of like standardised colour scheme. But I thought, like, given that this is kind of picking up a slightly old game, that I'm looking to just revamp a little bit. But yeah, how are you doing, though, man? Right. So, by the sounds of things, right? Unless I'm mistaken, if we actually don't collapse anymore, it does the false true on the first one. So, in fact, let's go play focused, and we just want to keep an eye on what's happening over here. So we can kind of keep track. So I'm going to hover over and then let go. And the reason that it's able to is because, yeah, so that's fine. Yeah, okay. Now I'm going to click on this. And, yeah, and that's fine. Right. So we are actually making progress, believe it or not. I'm going to click back here. So that's false, that's fine. So, like I say, the problem is you click it, hover, and then move off. And this second card here, if I actually Control-Shift-P, that pauses it. I want to just have a look at this one and find out why it's not going back. So, so card in hand is true. Okay. Oh, that was you. Oh, thank you. I do really appreciate that. Yeah, it's unique. It's interesting. Oh yeah. Oh, I really appreciate that. That's really good of you, and I genuinely do properly appreciate the support. Like, it's not as though I've got the most like renowned game dev like career ever, but you've really properly helped me on my way. Yeah, I'm gonna ideally, as I was saying earlier in the stream, I'm looking to get this on mobile as well, and I've done a few modifications so that it will be kind of easy. It shouldn't be too difficult. So that's our big curse. Right, so this one here. Okay, so it happens as it exits. So yeah, we want to work out, so you play one, then you hover over another and then move off. Yeah, still not entirely sure. Yeah, I agree. Oh, KO2 fan as well. Wow. Oh, nice. Oh, cool. Oh, KO2 fan. Oh, cool. Well, it's good. I'm glad that you popped in though. Have fun. Have a good walk with the dog. Nice. Yeah. Oh, I do really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm still trying to work out because I think I don't want to have adverts because the games that I've made before have been like advert like. I've kind of relied on ad revenue, whereas I'd rather this one cost like either 99p or like 149 or something. But like I still haven't really decided yet. So let's try and let's. Okay. Let's see it with. Oh yeah, it could be actually. I think that sounds like an actually good idea. The only problem is trying to implement ads is a bit of a pain, and part of me wants to. I feel like kind of in a nice way. I feel like I've done as much stuff as I can reasonably do with Rumple Town. You know, like still got other ideas that I want to put in, but it's just I think, yeah, it's like I've got a sort of limit. But no, I like that as an idea. Right. So if we just clear that, go back in. Okay, right. So it's as you sort of move on it. So this isn't actually going to be a problem for mobile gaming, but it's while that is in play. Yeah, okay. Okay, I've got one little idea that I want to look at. So if we actually have this one selected, right, we're going to look at certain booleans. Yeah, I think like I kind of agree. Like I'll be honest, whenever I'm not just saying this like, you know, it sounds like an old man thing to say, but whenever I'm actually going on the App Store to be like, oh, I want a game to play, I actually genuinely like am more excited about games that cost like $1.99 or $2.99 or something, right, than games that are free, because when it's saying it's free, it's like, yeah, it's not free. It's not free. You know, whereas I'm always a big sort of a fan of like, you pay a certain amount and then you never have to pay anything ever again, you know. Right, so what we should actually, yes, okay, so I know I do have a plan here, and I can't remember what it was. So no, the plan is, so card being played. So am I right in saying this is... Oh, it's private. Okay, so let's go make life a bit easy on ourselves. We're just going to make this public. And we'll have to stop and start, that's fine. Don't you love it when that happens? No, I think like, because the only thing which I'm still kind of in favour of is like, I don't mind expansions. Like, so for example, I'm a big fan of the Souls games, and when like you pay a certain amount for a game, you're like, oh, this game's brilliant, didn't need to do any in-app purchases, nothing at all. But then like 6 months down the line, it's like, oh, here is some whole extra chunk of content for some money. That I'm kind of okay with. But like, I think a particular game that absolutely just made me like it sort of, I lost a bit of faith in humanity is Tales of Arise, right? Now, the Tales of games, if ever you've played them, are absolutely fantastic. They're up to 4-player co-op RPGs where it's one player running around, but as soon as you get into combat, it becomes a 4-player, like 4 against all the enemies. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Oh, tell me about it. Yes. Yeah. 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 Oh, by the way, yeah, I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you, MKB. Right. Oh, yeah, right. So what we're going to do is, I've got this highlighted, this one here, right? And there's a boolean somewhere which is which I've just made unpublic, I think. Did I save it afterwards? Card being played. So I've got to work out exactly, where is it? So it should, oh right, so it's somewhere in the middle. Okay. Card being played. Okay, so we're kind of looking at this one and this one, and we're gonna kind of sort of see if anything changes as I sort of hover. So click that there. Right, okay, I almost got to see it. So I'm almost going to put my fingers on the screen so that I know, because we're looking at here, and I just want to see what happens to these two booleans, because this is what's making the this is what's essentially not, like, by these two booleans, this one not being true or this one being true, it's stopping it to modulate back. So that's like what we've got to try and work out exactly. Right, I've just got to kind of keep a very close eye. So oh no, I'm selecting the wrong one. Okay, so select this one here. Sorry, I know this is right. So okay. Right, I'm actually just going to look at card in hand first. So let's go select this one. Sorry, this will make sense eventually. So we've got that there. I'm just going to look at one boolean at a time. So just at this one. Does this one remain true the whole time? Yes, it does. Okay, so it's the second one that we're looking at. Okay, right, we're getting closer. But yeah, like, by the way, yeah, I completely agree. I definitely would rather, like, not that I'm trying to. There's no real reason to. There's a particular series of games. I don't know if you're a fan of like escape or room escape games, which are kind of like point and click adventures. But there's a particular series of games that have come out over the last like 10, 15 years, and they've just got better and better. They're like, I think it's like the Forever Lost series, and they're always like $2.99 for the game, or sometimes $3.99. The room. Now I think I did enjoy that. That like. Graphically looks a lot better, but the like as far as actual like what I really like in the like, even though this is a bit of a sadistic thing to say, what I really love is when you have a puzzle that you're stuck on for an hour, or like, you know, and you're thinking, I don't know where to go from here, I don't know what to do, and then suddenly something clicks and you're like, and to be fair, I think I didn't play all the room games, but I played quite a few of them, and there were a few moments like that. And as far as actual like graphical, like it looks beautiful to play. I think it's the Forever Lost series are, you know, it's a bit more like stationary. You know, it's a bit more like kind of the original Myst in that there's lots of still images, but the quality of the puzzles, some of them you're just like, oh, what a brilliant puzzle. You'll be stuck on it for ages, and then something will click. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think that's, you're right. It's like, well, I got no real reason. Let's give this a try. You know, I don't like it when I solve a puzzle and I'm like, well, why did that work? I don't know. Right. So we know what we're looking at now. So we are purely looking at card being played. Right. Let's go click on this. Okay. So I'm just going to keep my finger on that. Okay. Oh. That's really interesting. Huh. Okay. I won't lie. It's kind of, I don't really know. Don't really know why that hasn't modulated back, because you can see that it's actually saying true false. It is the booleans that should be right, and it's just not working. I'm not going to spend too much longer on that. I feel if I can work that out, then I can fix the problem. But I mean, it's never that annoying, you know. But it's just like, I guess I'll have to do a bit more research. I think if I spend too much longer, it's going to keep me. You know, I'll just start pulling my hair out. Like, oddly enough, I think, yeah. So yeah, the like, I think that's the thing, because there was a big sort of, maybe sort of 10 years ago or 5-10 years ago, there was a big sort of boom of loads of these escape room games. Some of them were complete rubbish, and some of them were good. And it was just the Forever Lost like series sort of came out. And it's like, oh, hang on a sec, the quality of these puzzles are brilliant, you know. Although some of them aren't actually really kind to people who've got any form of colourblindness. But apart from that, yeah, really, really good. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of cut our losses there. Just accept that I can't work out what that problem is. Like I say, it's not the end of the world. We're going to sort out another problem. We're going to go into the title scene. Sure, doesn't matter. And I'm going to press pause and then play. So that way I can just change all the numbers how I like, how I want to change them. So that's fine. Yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, to add to that Vivax, there was a game on the PS2, like years ago, that was called Curie Curie Mix, which I'm always a fan of co-op games where you're working together, and it was essentially a 3D platformer where you have one person one side, and another, like, these little, it looks quite sort of Japanese, sort of cartoony characters, the other side. And there's a certain bit where there's a piano, and you've got to press a button, and then you just hear 3 notes, which are like, did, right? And you've got to, like, the piano is like stretched across, so one person gets one half of the piano, the other person gets the other part, and you've got to work out what the 3 notes are. And like, I almost feel as though I lost friends as a result of that bit. We could not do it because we're like, well, none of us know how what notes go where. But that was, yeah. And so I agree with you. I'm not very good at any sort of musical recognition. Right, what was I doing? So we're going to go in here. We're going to give ourselves Rumple level 20. I think 20 is good enough. And we want to give ourselves some Rumple tokens, which I can't remember exactly where it's stored. It's not anywhere here. Feels like it should be around here. Yeah, once I've found it, we'll be fine. I might have to actually go into the code to work out. So the reason that I'm doing this, in fact, we can do this in a sec. Right, so I've given myself, I've boosted myself to level 20 for very specific reasons. Oh yeah. Oh, it's giving me a bit of grief. What have I done? I just need to turn the music off. Resume game. Right. So this is the slight issue. Let's go maximum so we can see what the problem is. So the problem which I've got is if ever you want to buy any like mega boosts, right, it's a bit of a pain because you've got to first of all go into buy a boost. You need to buy like 4 of these and then exit and then go into here and then buy and then convert those 4 into like a mega boost. Now someone came up with a really good suggestion of why don't you just have why can't these just be cost Rumple tokens to save time? Because incidentally, even though won't be able to show a great example of this, in this menu you can essentially do the conversion from here. So I think it would make more sense if all of this just cost Rumple tokens rather than having to convert 4 regular ones into a mega boost. So that's what I'm going to kind of work on. I don't think it should be too difficult. Yeah. So how am I going to do this then? I like the idea of keeping them both the options available, but if we didn't do that, how are we going to do that? So this is let's just have a look in here, try and work out exactly what we're doing. The reason this gets a bit confusing is because each one of these it's not just one script that controls everything. It's like there's multiple scripts within here, I think. like, yeah, this has got a separate vending, yeah, so it's probably here as well. So let's just try and work out exactly how we do this. So I have a feeling this int here that I've got capital is basically determining whether it's a regular boost, a ticket, or yeah, actually no, maybe it's not. Right, so boost type. Let's have a look. Shop type. Ah, shop type. That's the important thing. Shop type. Okay. So what we need to do is we just need to essentially convert it into Z coins. So we need to do almost exactly what we're doing here for here. So so if I actually open this up, find all references. I think the crackly noise right now is actually just part of the background music that I've got. Yeah, so if it's mega, we know it's 2. All right, so that's going to determine the shop type. So how are we going to do this? Rumple sprite. So what we probably need to do first of all is so it's all about this shop type. Okay. So I think we can actually just temporarily get rid of that. And then we just have Rumple Sprite. Because I think this is determining the actual sprite, and we don't need this anymore, so this can just be null. So that gets rid of, that's one segment sorted. And we've got to work out, yeah, so the Mega Shine I'm still kind of fine with, we keep that. And, oh, actually, no, maybe I don't do that. So actually, let's just see where we're at with that. Let's just see if that's actually made any progress. Because I think at the moment, that's just got rid of the Rumple Can sprite. But if it hasn't, then I can easily undo it. I want to kind of go through it, sort of segment step by step. So I'm going to click on this. Ah, yes, good. So we've got rid of the sprite. We're on our way. And if I was to press that, yeah, so what we want is the Rumple token sprite instead. So that's fine, that's good. And if instead of it being null, we just left it like that, would that just keep it as the original sprite that it was? The reason I'm taking this sort of bit of a sort of it's like I could work it out without having to press play, but I may as well just do this. Yeah, that'll just make it easier. So let's go like that. Right. So the reason that it's rotated and it's bigger is because that's, yeah, there is a reason as to why that is the case. But that's good. That's answered quite a lot of the questions that we need. So we've kind of got to work out exactly if is available to buy. Yeah, okay. And what it really should be is I'm still going to keep all of this. I'm just going to keep it sort of nicely greened out, right? So I have got the option to put it back in if I need to, but we'll have costing equals 4. That doesn't matter too much. We're going to go. We're going to just copy this and times by 4. Okay. And I think we can actually just I think we actually can get rid of all this. So if you do Control KC, that just comments everything out. Yeah, and this is just determining the actual big picture on the left, so that we can remain the same. So, in fact, I think we can get rid of all this as well. So, yeah, we're getting there. So now I'm just going to see where we're at now. So hopefully, like, it will hopefully visually look how we want it, but it won't actually act how we want it to. So right now, yeah, look, so this is the actual price of the, like, mega boosts, essentially. Which is exactly what we were after. So now, the only problem is it wouldn't matter if we had enough Rumple tokens. It's not going to react the way that we want it to react. So, like, and I could always have some, you know, because I quite liked it, like that idea, but it was just too much of a pain to actually sort out. It's like, it's one of those sort of fun ideas that it's like, it felt good on paper, but then when you're actually seeing people having to go into one thing, manually buy 4 boosts, then go out of that menu, then go into another one to then convert those 4, it was just too much of a pain. So if we just turn it into Rumple tokens, that makes a bit more sense. So all of this is fine. How many times? Let's go find all the references here. So that's all we need. So that's weird. So, okay. I'm just going to temporarily... I don't think... This is never going to be true, so we can actually just leave this. Action sprites equals... Yep, that doesn't matter too much. Right. So if shot type... That shine is still what we want. Okay. So we're kind of on our way now. We've just got to work out the separate vending slot button on point of click, buy a boost. Let's go to this definition, try and work out what this actually does. Oh, got it. Okay. So I think... Individual... So let's have a look. If it is available to buy, activate button. Otherwise do that. Okay. How do we know if it's available to buy? Let's go find all the references. Oh no, that's fine. Ignore that. Right. So as you click on this, it buys a boost. So let's just... Let's just find all references. You know, when you go back to old code that you haven't looked at for about a year, you're thinking, what was I thinking? Right. So what's happening here? Okay, right. I know what's happening now. Right. So we have this particular script here. This is like the daddy. This is the parent script, right? And this separate one is like connected to it, is one of the children of it, right? So when we're saying individual that's basically saying, hey, dad, can you buy a boost, right? And now let's go into here and find out what happens. So, so activate button. Let's go to this definition now. This is the activation routine. Got it. Okay. Right. Ah. Oh, wow. We might be able to do something amazing here. Oh, right. Is this going to be the laziest thing we've ever done? This could be the laziest bit of craftsmanship I've ever seen. Right. If we just simply just had case 2, right? And then this is going to give me grief. So we just kind of get rid of all this and go Control KC. And probably get rid of that as well. I think, actually no, I'm not sure. Oh, maybe there's a little bit more that we need to do. Okay, I couldn't quite be that lazy, but we were almost there. That is a very, very good point. That is a really good point. I like it. The answer is no. No, I think the reason that I will keep it is because I always like to think, it's like just as a psychological thing in my head, I like to keep this idea active, because perhaps in the future I could have a button where it swaps between you either pay with regular boosts or you pay with Rumple tokens, and it will keep this option alive. I want to keep that option available, but yes, that is a very, very good point. And what we should do is, so there is a switch statement within here that is quite relevant. Oh, hang on a sec. Oh, wow. Hold on. I think if we look here... boom. Easy. Easy peasy. Control C. Control V. This is case 2. And this one is true. Alright. Okay. Have we done it? Have we actually nailed the whole thing in one fell swoop? Now, what I need to do very quickly, rather embarrassingly, is I need to work out exactly where the Rumple tokens are. I don't know. There is an integer somewhere along this sort of... here, found it. Okay, right, where is this? This is under game info script, and it's somewhere in the middle there. Okay, right, so pause, play. Right, hopefully this will still remain roughly here. Yeah, Rumple tokens. Let's just give ourselves 10,000 Rumple tokens. Okay. Right. Is this just going to work? Is this going to, I'll be so happy if this just kind of magically works. Right. Okay. So here we go. Right. We've got 10,000 Rumple tokens. Right. I want to get a pull anchor. Right. Yeah, the colour, that's good. The Rumple tokens didn't go down. And I just want to see if I was to buy a regular one. Okay. All right. So a certain thing is stopping the Rumple tokens going down. But I just want to check that if I did that. Right. Switch to Mega Boosts. Right. Okay, we're still there. So what's happened is it's still essentially lost for it's still traded the for Palankas that we didn't have because I've bypassed something else. That's why it's -4, right? So we're getting closer. So what we kind of wanted to do, it's still spent essentially the boosts, but yeah, that's fine. Right, we're getting a lot closer now though. So here this is easy. We just go to this definition. Probably not this definition. No, Right, let's go find all the references. So I've got to work out how the grate activates. Let's go find all the references there. Okay, so this shop menu script. Am I right in saying that this is actually a child script? Yes, it is. Okay, so we're actually... Yes, okay, so this is... So now, hopefully, we'll have an activate grate somewhere. Here we go. Right. Now, yeah, we're getting there, Let's go to this definition. Activate grate. God, why? Oh, man, right, here we go. If mega... then so what we kind of want to do, I'm going to green this out again. Let's find out exactly if I have no idea what this bit of code is about. Wow, God, I feel like I'm getting early onset like dementia or something. Like literally, I do not know why I've got this chunk of code here. I do not know what this actually this serves. Okay, so what we can do is let's just pretend it doesn't exist, and we just go. Control V times by 4. Okay. I genuinely don't know what that is about. Why did I have this? So we've minused it, and then the boost button script. I mean, kind of. This is fine. I just kind of want to know. Oh yeah, actually, yeah. I'll have to. I think there's. Is it Control K? Okay, right. Yeah. Let's just find out what this does. Okay, I don't think we need it. I don't think we need to worry about that. I think we can just get rid of it and hopefully just kind of hope for the best. Right, we're getting there. Right, here we go. Okay, so we've got so's that I can kind of feel slightly better about myself. This is taking longer than I thought. If we just, the reason I'm buying 4 of these is mainly just for my own kind of OCD. Right, 3 and 4. The only reason I'm doing this is because hopefully now. Good, we're on 0 of these, you know, just to level it back up to 0. Okay, right. So now, let's go get a palanca. Right, it did take off the right amount. And now, in theory, we should actually have 2 mega palancas. And we do. Right, yes. Oh, brilliant. Let's go. Okay, I think I have solved this issue. Now, the other issue, which doesn't matter too much, but you know, if it would be nice to like have an option where you can convert your regular boosts into into mega ones. However, you still can do that, right? If you just go buy a boost and I was to buy like 20, like some more of these, for example. I just kind of want to check this still works as well. So let's just buy a few of these. I should have enough. I kind of want to get enough to do the whole thing twice just to check that it still works. Right. So if I click on this, I can convert. Yes, and it's gone in there, and then we should have one of these yet. Okay, right, now we are making good progress. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that. I think overall people who have kind of played to this, like have played this much, and have got to like getting mega boosts, I think they will really appreciate that. And there still is the ability to convert, which is good. Oh yeah, no, that's a good point. As in, how did it do, like, marketing wise? You know what, like, I mean, it did very well. Like, I always think, because I work in a hospital, right, and whenever anyone asks me how's your game development going, I normally say the fact that I'm still working here means it's never going super great, but all things considered, I'm really happy with how like successful like Rumple Town has been. From I'm genuinely still like happy with that. Oh yeah, this is the rock stars. Right. So now we're gonna do another thing, right? We're going to, in fact, I think we can do this all from here. I'm gonna create a problem that I'm gonna then look to fix. So what we need to do first is have, let's see, got to remember where these numbers are. I think it might be, so no, that's not that. So what we're going to do essentially is I want to be doing one of the later levels. So if I go chaos level max of say 25, and we'll be on 23, okay, and then unpause. Now I just need to kind of go into a menu of some sort. Actually, there's something else that I need to do as well. That's right, this is all experimenting stuff. There's also tickets. I need to give myself enough chaos tickets. Ticket ints. I think it's that one. No, actually, I'm not sure if it is. Hold on. I can't remember. Did I have a separate integer? Oh no, maybe it's this one. So if I do 25 there, okay, right. This will make sense. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That is a very good point. And I'll be honest, I don't think I quite hit that number. Right. However, right, like I said this, like I've always said this right from the start. When I like game development, I absolutely love game development. That is my passion in life. So even if, you know, I get to the ripe old age of like 70 or 80 or something, and I never sort of make any sort of serious money from it, I'm still going to be happy, because I genuinely do. Like when I'm doing coding, it's like, even right now, absolutely, I can't tell you how much I just love, genuinely, like I love like coding and actually like making games work and sort of finally putting things together and be like, oh my god, I've actually, you know, this is actually fun now. This is, you know, it's like, yeah. So it's, so as far, I mean, obviously I've always got this sort of dream and aspiration, you know. Yeah, exactly. You're entirely right. And so in that respect, so it's like how did Rumple Town, how did it perform to your satisfaction? Yes, but like a massive yes. It's like I've done exactly what I did want to do. I wanted to make a good, sort of fun little game that I wanted to make it almost surprisingly fun. Where people will be like, oh, hang on a sec, there's actually strategy to this. This isn't just like there is actually sort of like genuine like skill level and stuff, and I like it. Right, so we're actually going to have no boost. Right, so let's see if I can create a problem. Right, it might take me several attempts to make this problem, but once I've done it, then we know what the problem is, and you'll see the problem hopefully soon, because it was one of the problems that was sort of highlighted. And so if I press this, okay, Gristock, Biff, Spectral Blob, Chlorek. So we're looking at all the different monsters that we're fighting, and okay, I am not able to prove my point. Oh yeah, actually that's another good point. Right, yes, okay, sorry. Let's just very quickly, we can close all but this. Yeah, sorry, this was just a fun little incidental problem. I was testing to see if Sol worked, and so I've added it to the first, but that's okay. Just wanted to do that very quickly. Right, okay. Now, what's the thing that I was going to test? Like I said, I'll take a few tests, but what can happen in this current iteration is you can fight the same monster twice in a row, and I want to avoid that. But I want to just check that you still can. So I'm just going to kind of spend. This might take me a couple of attempts, but I think it will just be, it's like, and once I've seen that can happen, I then want to work out how to fix it. So, and I think there's about maybe a 20-30% chance of that happening. Back to time. We're just going to keep going, and I think once I've seen it happen once, then I'm then going to work on trying to fix it. But I just want to check that it can happen, because I think that was another issue with this new patch that I've made, is that you can fight the same monster twice in a row. Right, that's good. So I'm just looking at these names, like Eddie. Oh yes, brilliant, yes! We've created the problem! Now we need to fix it. Okay, so what's the problem? So here, you're fighting Eddie, and then like you go to a shop, and then you're fighting Eddie again, right? Now, when I fixed this last time, because this was a big issue before, but in order to essentially not eat up half a computer worth of RAM. It's a slight exaggeration, but it's so, the method that I used before was so inefficient that it's like when you're starting a game, even on a PC, the screen is black for quite a few seconds, and you're thinking, I've got a pretty powerful PC here, but it's because it's anyway. I've got that fixed in this new in this new patch. However, like I wasn't able to fix the duplication thing. So what we need to do is, so the reason that you fight the same thing twice in a row is because you have as one of the nullifiers, one of the things that makes it more difficult as you progress through the levels is there's a chance that you can actually fight a monster that is one level higher than it should be at that point, right? As an extra, to make it more difficult. Now, if you like, say you've got like one of the higher level up ones, the one level up is going to be Eddie, right? And then it selects the next one. It's like, oh right, well it hasn't done that. It's just incidentally selected Eddie. That can happen, and that we've shown that has happened. And that is what we're going to try and fix. I have no idea how we can do this. My plan is I don't want to use more than say 20 lines of code to try and fix this, because before I really did have to use that much code, and it was a bit of a pain. So get let's go to this definition here. I'm pretty sure this is how it works. So okay, so what we want to do I have a feeling this might have been what I did. This might have been how I sorted this problem out. So what we want to do is we have a look here. We've got sometimes fight higher levels. So if we go to this definition here, right? So once we've got a chaos level of it's actually lower down than I thought it was. But yeah, sometimes fight higher level monsters. That's fine. So once we're at chaos level 3, I guess, then there's a chance you can fight some a higher leveled monster. So let's go to this definition. So and what's happening is, provided it's not level 1 or level 12, we're this monster int essentially indicates what level. So you start at level 1, and because there's 12 monsters, it will just add 1. So it's going to be picking from a range of here. We don't need to worry too much about what's going on here. It's more this bit that we need to look at. So what we should do is, now there's different ways we can do this. Monsters to remove. Okay, let's go find all the references. Right, brilliant. This is what I wanted. Okay, so this is a variable here, right, that I think if I have monster to remove from potentials equals this one here, and then we just return monsters to remove from potentials. Okay, this is the first start. So what we're saying is yeah, it's still going to be a little bit of a pain, but this is fine. So now we're saying this is essentially the last monster that you fought. So this is going to be stored. So when we go back up here, right? Oh wow, hold on. Is this going to be as easy as I think it is? Oh man, this might be really easy. Oh, I'll be so gutted if it's as easy as I think it is. This is going to be embarrassingly easy, right? No. It cannot be this easy. This is embarrassing. I think we just need to go monster list, right? So this monster list here, this is compiling all of the monsters that you might fight on this particular level. So if we just went monster list dot remove monster. Hold on. What did I call this one here? Monster to remove from potentials. Yeah, hold on. I'll get there eventually. Monster to remove from potentials. Then that will always remove it from the pile of random ones that we can do. The only problem is, and I don't know how lists work, right? Obviously, more often than not, we're not going to be removing anything. So I don't know if that's going to create an error message. I mean, I guess we could actually try. Okay, right. We don't actually need to catch anything, but this will essentially stop there being any error messages if there would be one, because more often than not, you like when it's removing something from a list, it won't actually have it in the file. So let's give this a try, and let's see if it is as simple as this. Because I mean, like I remember doing all of this, right? All of this code here was essentially a really complicated and heavy as well, because I had to use that resource.load all every time. I don't know why I made it this difficult, but I think this is all we need to do. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's go. Right now, we're going to try and recreate the problem. See if we do it. We probably need to do it a good sort of 10 times to check that this doesn't happen. So if I were to hypothetically resume, right, the two eddies should still be there because we haven't. This is like it's already been determined. Yeah, you're probably. I think you are right there. So I probably don't need to try and catch. I think you are right. So these two eddies, that's entirely. I know why that's there because I pressed resume. I just wanted to check that that was still the case. Now, hopefully, we should never see these duplicates ever again. Right. So we'll go back to title. Right. And then we'll go new game. Oh, hold on. Oh, this looks... Oh, hold on. Oh, my gosh, hold on. This... Wow. Sorry, I'm reading this like this really good, useful bit of code. It will do an index of, then remove that index, and if found nothing, then okay, that's fine. Oh. Right, I'm going to have a little look. Oh, wow. Hang on, is this... Huh. So, okay, sorry, I've just been kind of warping at the screen for a little bit without explaining anything. So, over here, this looks... It's basically how remove works, and you kind of highlighted the exact... issue that I've got. Line 800 and oh my gosh, keep scrolling. I just clicked off of it. 823. Yeah, this is it. So, oh my word, check this out. Oh, so it even gives you a boolean. So I didn't actually know that. So if I go back onto here, so this is actually just interesting stuff. You are entirely right. Yeah, it's a boolean. So, so we don't really need this at all. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to want to just quickly just do a bit of testing, checking that we're not getting any duplicates. So, Renegade Wine, Cane, Scalor, Chlorec, Crablord, Baliable. Right. Yeah. This might take a little while. I think it's just if we just do a bit of rigorous sort of testing. Let's go back to the title. Oh. Ah. Oh, although, however. So yeah, sorry. So if you hold Control and click something, does that happen with all the functions? It looks like it doesn't exactly explain like what's going on, but yeah, no, that's really interesting though. Hold on, does that happen with other things? Oh, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to experiment with that a bit later. So in theory, we actually don't need. Let me just stop this here. In theory, we don't need this. But yeah, let's get rid of that. For my own, like literally my own weird sort of things. I always like to keep commented out codes. Because it's always quite funny when you see how much work it was, how much I couldn't find any better way of doing it. It's like, this is how I did it before, and it involved me having to load every single one, comparing everything, and it was just, yeah. Wow. How do you? Oh my gosh. So actually, the real MKB. Are you like? Is there any games that you're working on at the moment? Like, you like completely feel free, like to. Oh wow. Okay. Right. I'm not going to look into this right now because this looks a bit confusing for me. But but yeah, if there's any games that you want to like that you're working on, you want to showcase, like, do feel free. Like, that's really cool. Yeah. Oh, fair play. Oh, fair play. No, that's really, really cool. Right. Because this is also another brilliant thing about streaming. The number of times I've had people such as yourself, and like, that have really, really helped me out when I've been struggling on something. You know. So right now, okay, we just need to do a bit more rigorous testing. So there's been no duplicates. I just kind of want to just test. I don't think there should be, but we'll do, say, 4 more just to properly solidify that point. New game. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, all different names, which is perfect. Yeah, this is great. Because, yeah, I'm still one of those people where whenever I'm watching any TV show and you can see someone's coding in it, I got that excitement of like, oh, I want to see what they're trying to do on this code. You know, I'll like pause and I'll be like, oh, what's going on? You know. It's like, yeah, I think I've been doing sort of coding on and off for like 10 years. And it still kind of gives me that excitement. Renegade Wine. Yes, very nice. Okay, just do it maybe 2 more times. I think we've kind of proven that you can't get it, but yeah, you can't get duplicates. So this is good. Yeah, right. Yeah, okay, right, this looks like it's worked. Now, the next thing I kind of want to work on, and I don't know if I should, it's just, I want this game to be ideally playable on mobile. Now, I've given it a try and it works like really well. I think one slight issue is that with the text on the cards, I don't need to read them that much, so subconsciously I can kind of like, because I know the general gist of what's happening, and I don't know how difficult it is to read. I think we're still fine. Yes. Okay. All right. So we've got quite a lot of stuff done actually, which I'm really happy with. Okay. So where are we going next? So what we should do is, let me think. Right. So I'm going to so I'm going to press play. Oh yeah. Right. Let's see. So, what was I testing? Oh yes, that's it. So we've got this one on. Right. Now, if I go into this card library, I don't really know a good way of fixing this. But if I press like all here, this text is kind of readable if you've got a big screen. Whereas if you're playing on mobile, this is just far too small. You've got to think, well, is it readable when it's that size? And I'm, it's almost worth putting your kind of phone, being like, okay, how, could you read that? It's, that's kind of like roughly, it's kind of what I'm working on. However, when you click on this, that is generally big enough. But I could make this bigger. I could make this whole thing bigger. So, like, maybe I still keep this the same size, but if you actually want to know what the card does, you could then click it. And this is just about big enough, because you've still got to kind of imagine that you're playing this on mobile. Is this going to be too small? So maybe we just work on this, try and work out a way of just making this maybe just a bit bigger, if you've got mobile mode on. So I'll need to pause. I'm guessing different level of cards, window, go. So this is the game object that we're looking to work on, and it's called different level of cards. Right, so we kind of want to work out how big they're making it and how big we can make it. Right. Oh, brilliant. There's another thing that I'm looking to... Yes, sorry. I'm adding more to the list of things. So let's see. Right. Okay. So I have a feeling that we can fix a lot of this. We're just essentially working out how big we want to make it. So float X. So I think if we did it, say 2.25, then that would work. In fact, what I probably need to do is so we need to make it bigger. So local scale equals 1.25. And now how does this float X? Oh, yeah, I think this should be fine. So what we could do is have if master script dot instance dot mobile phone mode else. And so now we can go Control C, Control V, and then here we can just have, we can be really pretentious. I'm just going to copy this, but we'll change the numbers. V. And now I've never thought to do this, right? But what you can do in a function, right? When you have an if x turns into something and then else x turns into something else, right? We get a little grey like dots of shame as though like, oh, what are you doing? So in theory, you can actually just introduce a variable, right? But provided you definitely do something with the variable afterwards, there is no harm in just saying float x. Oh, Unbroken Martin, let's rock! Oh, wicked, how's it all going? Oh, right, so we're going to take a bit of a gamble. The real MKB, I 100% trust you, but I'm not exactly sure what the word ternary means. Let's try 2.25, and that because that's 50% more. 2.25. Yeah. Oh, cheers, man. Yeah, it is nice, and I want to be streaming a bit more often. I just haven't. I just haven't had quite the energy. I've had, a few, not anything like major or anything, but a few little things going on, and I just, hopefully I'll feel better soon. Oh, right, okay. So what we need to do is we could say if mobile. Oh no, hold on. Let me just copy that and get rid of the bits that we don't need. So I don't know if this is going to fit on the screen, by the way, but we'll have to do a bit of a test. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. I love it. To be honest, it wasn't quite as efficient as how you did it. But yes, I was thinking that as well. Like, I know it sounds like I'm making this up, but we could have something like float. Let's have a think. Who's a good English celebrity? And I can't do Stephen Fry. Let's have a look. Graham Norton. Okay. Equals. And then do your bit, which is masterscript.instance.mobile phone mode ? Because I'm not super. So 2.25f. And then semicolon 1.5f. Is that how we do it? So that's basically saying if mobile phone mode is on, then this Graham Norton is going to be 2.25. Otherwise, it's going to be 1.5. And then get rid of all this. And then we just have equals Graham Norton that times Graham Norton. Okay, come on. Okay, right. And now we could then go here. We can just have. I still want to kind of keep the original stuff if I can, so we get rid of this. This isn't needed, but we just do that times by Graham Norton, and then I think we're sorted. Right? Is that all we need to do? Let's go give it a shot. If it doesn't work, we'll try and work out. So we've got. So actually, what I kind of want to do is just test that I haven't broken the original version. So we're going to turn mobile phone mode off. Press play. And one thing which, like, whenever I'm making the mobile phone mode, I need to remember to turn that boolean on when I'm making the the mobile phone version, and switch it off when I'm making a patch for Windows and Mac and stuff. Right, here we go. Right, so this bad boy. So this should just be exactly the same. I'm going to click on that. That's fine, and it works. Okay, that's good. All right, your bit of code. By the way, I do really like using that. I like that code because instead of it being like 5 lines of code where I'd have if this, then open curly brackets, do this, close curly brackets, else do that. Yours literally covers everything in one line of code, and I really do appreciate that. Right, so now we've done that. Brilliant. Okay, now I just need to turn this on. Okay, is this going to be far too big? Okay, Graham Norton, no. For whatever reason, it has not. How spaced apart are they? I mean, mostly it's worked. That's almost what we were after, but not quite. Oh, so it's actually so the distance between has got to be slightly bigger. And I think I probably need to make it a bit smaller anyway, but that's fine. What is the distance in between that I need to make it? So at the moment that would say 0. So it feels like it's 4.5 between each one. So if that one was there to be 4.5, then that's probably still a bit too big. Because, in fact, what we can do... so let's just stop this for the time being. I'm going to turn Yeah, this shouldn't be too hard. I quite like it. It's one of those sort of gentle. So if we go into build settings, I'm just going to. I can actually still swap. So this will just take a moment. So I can, yeah, just chill for a bit. This is just going to take a little while. We're swapping it to iOS mode so that we can actually create the screen size of a real, of an actual phone. That ideally has quite a thin, long screen, so that we can test to see how big that is. And we've got to work out exactly. I've got one of the variables wrong, but it shouldn't matter too much. And I know, yeah, like I say, I know I've got one thing wrong, and I just can't quite work out exactly. I wonder if I can look at this in the meantime. It looks like I can. Right, fantastic. Oh, huh. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I see. Because what we've done is we've got a distance of 3. And so what I should do is, instead of it being 3 here, it should be... I mean, I know why I need to do this, but trying to explain why is going to be quite difficult. But I think it's Graham Norton times 2. Because if you look at it, when it was 1.5, the spacing in between is there. So I think that is all we need to do. But now we can hopefully just alter this how we like, so that it will still kind of stay on scale. So right, have we actually now effectively? It looks like it's still doing its thing. It's still taking a little while. That's fine. Right, we're almost there. So we've now officially switched to this, and yeah, iPhone 12 Pro sounds like a good one to test on. So we still got it on full screen, but it's important to know that like the dimensions are actually like accurate. Like this is the proportional representation of an iPhone 12 screen. So even though it looks like it's filling the whole screen, it's not quite. So let's have a look. Right, now. Okay, that's good. I mean, I know obviously we still got to make... So it looks like 2.25 is a little bit too big. So I think if we just turned Graham Norton down to 2.0, that might work. And then we'll worry about the background part in a little bit. That doesn't matter too much. Let's see. Right. I what I should do is actually just go into this scene itself, but right, anyway, let's go. Oh, that looks about right, doesn't it? Okay, that's good. So all we need now is this shouldn't actually be too tough, really. So in this bad boy, we've got the width and height here, and I don't even know if we're even paying attention to it. So we do. Are we actually doing anything with this? Find all references. So it's fading in. So what we should do, there's probably an easier way of doing this, but we just go if master script dot instance dot mobile phone mode, then background sr dot size equals new, no, yeah, Okay. Right, is that going to work? Is that like right? Let's give it a try. However, we kind of want to have that nearer the top. So, right, it's a bit of a lazy way of doing it, but let's just see if that works. So we're just basically making it proportionally bigger, so it fits. So this square fits. So let's give this a try. Okay. Right. So now... Oh, hold on. That incidentally fits perfectly in the screen. Right. So what I will need to do... Is that... I don't think that is coincidence. I don't think that is coincidence. I think that is actually correct. So yeah, if ever you wanted to work out what each one does, you can just kind of click on it and then it'll be like, oh, that's what it does. And yeah, that looks pretty good. So what I'll need to do now is just experiment with a different screen size. So let's say iPhone iPhone mini landscape. Let's give this a try. I just want to kind of see if it's always going to fit in the screen. Although that was actually a terrible one to try. In fact, let's go focused and we just play from there. Right. So I'm playing focus, so I categorically know this is the screen size. Yeah, that's nice. I wonder if I can just change it midway through. Okay, right, that's probably actually a bad example. Let's just see what happens. Because I think with iPads, it doesn't really need to be, it doesn't need to be on mobile mode. Because iPads are kind of big enough screens anyway. But let's just see what happens. I have a feeling it might just be, yeah, it might just be a little bit too big. But that's, yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem. Because with all the iPhone landscape, I have to do a bit of, yeah, then it kind of works. But that's actually another thing that I kind of want to check as well. We should probably sort a few things out while we're here. So if I were to just do iPad, yeah. So I think I would have to have a separate iPad version because it doesn't need to be massive on the iPad version, whereas on the mobile phone version it kind of does. And you don't have iPads that are like long ways, so. So in this circumstance, we're now going to exit here, go, turn mobile phone mode off. Okay, so everything just about fits in the screen. Ah, right, no, that doesn't look super professional there, does it? Yeah, so it still gets clipped slightly. The only problem is I don't really know how to fit everything in. The realistic way would be just essentially, because you still want all these buttons. Yeah, so it's like, I think this is one of those issues. Whereas when these are spawned, they're not proportional to the size of the screen. So if I did have like an iPhone 8 landscape and then exited, it's not as though they're going to be. I kind of would want them to be like on the left side of the screen, like proportional. So that's definitely something that I'll need to. Yeah, because yeah, in an ideal world, you'd kind of want them. Yeah, and that's obviously really small. But if we literally just turn that on now, then it gets big, which is kind of what we want. That's fine. Okay, I'm happy with that. Right. So that is, I've kind of sorted that. We have got another issue that, like, I've got to try and work out how to fix. So when it's on this same sort of sorting out the mobile phone issue, as you're probably aware that iPhones and probably quite a lot of like Android phones as well, number one, they don't have a perfectly rectangle size screen, so I'll have to kind of like try and explain the problem as I fix it. If we go into the main game, yeah, we can save it, it's fine. And it wouldn't matter if mobile phone mode is on or not, but I'll switch it on for because the slight issue is on here. This looks fine. You can see everything. It's all looking good. But the iPhones and probably Androids as well, the screen isn't perfectly rectangular, so it sort of curves in these corners, and frustratingly, you get what I can only really, I think people know as the island, but there's probably a specific name for it, where essentially a part of the phone, like where there's the microphone, kind of intrudes over here, and it means you can't fully see the end turn button. So there's kind of lazy ways of fixing that. I could simply just move the end turn button like half a unit. Like, how much would I need to move it? Unfortunately, I haven't got any sort of reference point here, but I think I would need to move this. At the moment, it's saying 7.3. If I just say minus 0.5, it might just be something as simple as that. And I think that might just fix it. So I could just be, if it's mobile phone mode, when we're doing this, we just move it a little bit to the left. The only problem is, if we do that, is that going to get in the way of anything else? Seems to be okay. I think that works all right. And we can't, like, I even, like, years ago when I was making another game, I actually created a whole sprite, right, which was intentionally you attach it to the camera, so that you can see where that island is. I'm trying to work out what you actually call it, but it's the bit of a mobile phone that just divots and kind of intrudes into the screen. And yeah, so I think we could just, when it's mobile phone mode, we just move it to the left a little bit more. How would we do that? I don't think it'd be too hard. We just go into here, have the main game master, and we've probably got an end turn button somewhere. End turn button go, end turn button script. Let's go find all of these resources. Instantiate. So attach from the corner. So what we would want to do is have something like if master script.instance.mobile phone mode, then that's and that could just be -2. Right, the only problem is I'd have to put it on my phone to actually test that it works. I don't really have the resources to do that quite yet. But let's just see if it's as easy as it sounds, if that just works. So ideally, when we press play with that on, it will just sort of nudge slightly to the left. One thing though, if anyone can come up with, I've been trying to think of good sort of simple-ish new card ideas. Because I kind of want a few more like slightly more generic cards ideas, because I've made almost every single one of my cards is like there's almost something exciting about almost every card that I've made, and I feel like there probably needs to be a few more slightly more kind of grey cards. It's like, you know, the card wallop is like one of the most generic cards because that all it is just you add a bunch of attackers. There's no fancy play, but it's just like quite a fun card. So yeah, that worked there. And now if we just switch that off, it should just go back to where it was. Right. So yeah, that seems, I'm kind of okay with that. Now, one thing that, as you've probably noticed, it's not really that exciting, but we've got this particular boolean here called remove certain menu aspects. Now, if I had this clicked off, right, we've got exit game, resume, back to title, but whereas, like, if I turn this one on, right, then you actually have less options, right? The reason being is because generally mobile games, I've been told you don't want to have an exit button. If they want to exit, you can just close it down, right? And the other options were windowed mode, which obviously you can't have in a mobile game. And there's one which is one-click card, because it felt like it wouldn't really work on mobile, you know, because when you have, in fact, let me just switch this off and back on, and we have one-click cards. Yeah, so that is active, right? That means that I can just click a card and it will play it, right? Which is really useful, but I don't think that would work very well in mobile. However, I actually did test it on mobile and it kind of worked quite nicely. So I think if we have it default off, but we could still leave that option in for mobile phone users, and if they prefer it, then they've got that option. So I think we will, right? How do we do that? We need to create the settings. In fact, if we get this bad boy, this is the escape menu. Let's go edit this. And we're going to have remove certain aspects. This is the one-click card button. I think we can just leave it in, to be honest. So now, yeah, I think it feels like we don't really need it. Like it feels like we could just leave it in. So let's go. Right. So this is. So we can switch that off, and now. Oh, I pressed. Did I just pressed the wrong button. It's a bit quicker if I actually just press play. Right. So yeah, so that's there, and then resume. Right, so now I can't click it, so I'd have to drag it up in order to play it. Whereas now I can just switch that on, resume, and then just click and play. Yeah, I'm okay with leaving that option in. I just thought it wouldn't work on mobile, but when I tested it, it kind of does. Right, so I'm glad to have fixed all of that. Neil, so one thing which I'll quickly explain, one of the big things that I spent ages working on is I had someone in my just on the actual Steam page saying, how do you reset the game, right? And that's a perfectly legitimate good thing to ask, because it's like once you've got to like Rumple level, say 5, you can never go back down, right? You can literally, it is impossible to go back down unless you physically find the file in your persistent data path and delete it so you can start again. So what I decided to do was if I actually just go opening scene, sure, we can say that, doesn't matter. What I decided to do was actually have a file selection screen, right? So you can play, so you can actually choose where you're going to play, and you have the ability to delete as well, which made a lot of sense. but I had a bit of a complaint that someone accidentally, like, they were trying to delete one file just to, just to see the animation and see what happens, right? And accidentally deleted the main one. And I've been trying to recreate that problem, and I'm struggling slightly. But obviously, I'm slightly reluctant to, until I've actually properly sorted out this patch. I want to, like, rigorously test to see if there's no way you can possibly delete. So I'm going to select this game file. So this will be a fresh new game file. So I'll actually just switch this. Oh, it's actually, yeah. Right, and then from here, let me just... if we go... right, I want to just kind of like... put myself, say, Rumple level 5, alright, and then we just exit and go back to the select game file, right? This one is now Rumple level 5, and this one's still empty. So if I was to click this one now, I think it would actually be a properly fresh empty one yet. So we can skip all of this, this is fine. And the music as well, settings get reset as well, that's fine, right? And now we go back in, right? We've still got this, but oh, sorry, I'm reading your stuff. This sounds like really good, useful information. Hold on. You could allow restoring of game files, i.e. rename them to... Oh! Huh. Oh, I like that. I actually really do like that. Like, because one thing that is kind of incidental is in the... Like, if you imagine, with this, we've got essentially Rumple Town file 01, 02 and 03, but the original version, the non-updated version, it actually has a different file, which is just Rumple Town with no numbers at the end of it, right? So when he accidentally deleted his old account, all he actually did was, because it essentially copies from the original to file number 1. Sorry, that was a horn outside. But it's just, so I was thinking if I tried to delete this, I always want to make sure it does, but this one still remains and you can still click on this and it still goes. But I think he had a problem where he deleted file number 2 and yeah, whereas this is still kind of working okay. But yeah, I'm still not 100% sure, but I'm going to make sure it's fine. I'm going to do a bit more rigorous testing because obviously that's what you want. That's kind of what you need to do. You need to make sure there is absolutely no way you can accidentally delete the file, but ideally you should always have access to an old version anyway. So I'll sort of worry about that a bit later. Right. Now I think I've done quite a lot today, and I'm probably going to call it here. I'm going to look to see who to raid and stuff because I'm exhausted. I've been essentially just energy drinked throughout the whole day, and that is partly what's keeping me up right now. So I'm going to probably have a bit of a caffeine crash shortly. So I'm going to call it here. But this has been actually a lot of fun. Really, really nice. Again, I want to be streaming more often. I think Rumple Town, it feels like I've done the large bulk of what I need to do. I'm going to look into your idea of just keeping an old game file saved. I think for aesthetics, I like the idea of there only being 3 to choose from. It kind of makes you feel back to the old sort of games where you had like Zelda and stuff, where you have 3 game files. However, I do like the idea of just having some sort of way of restoring your old file that's like a week old. I do like that. I'll have a look into that. But yeah, anyway, right, I'm going to have a little test to see who I can Raid. Let's see. Let's see. Right. I've got this guy followed. I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure he's awesome. Oh, right. Looks like it's for mature viewers, but I'm sure you'll be alright. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking around. I'll see you guys later.